Maybe you have already lost someone. Or you know someone who is going through a deep loss right now. Many people are facing this topic of death right now, at that moment. And if we are honest, sooner or later, we all will. This topic can feel heavy and paralyzing. Maybe you are grieving, feeling empty, or searching for a way to handle the pain. And you ask yourself, how do I survive this? How can life go on? It feels like being inside a bad movie. One you never choose and don't want to be in. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about today. Because almost no one really talks about what actually helps in such a moment. What really happens when someone dies? Where do they go? And most of all, how can you deal with it? With the grief, the emptiness, and the feeling of loss. But before we begin, a warm welcome to my channel. My name is Sylvia Soyodaya Group. I'm a clairvoyant medium, and I have supported people on this path for many years. In my work, I connect with the spirit world, receiving messages from loved ones who have passed on. I also train others to develop this ability and to make their own contact with souls on the other side. For my many years of experience, I know very well what really happens when we die and how we can move through this pain of saying goodbye with more understanding and peace. Before we talk about how to handle grief, it is important to understand what truly happens in the moment of transition. The person we knew, the one we loved, the one we shared so many special moments with, joyful moments or difficult, seems to no longer exist after death. It feels as if the connection is suddenly erased. But in the moment of letting go, two things happen. And they are felt both by the person who is dying and by those nearby. First, many people sense a sudden lightness, almost like a gentle breeze or movement in the room. That is the soul's energy separating from the physical body. It's often described as a beautiful, peaceful light leaving the body, usually through the head or the area of the heart. And the second is, and perhaps the most beautiful part, in the very moment the soul leaves the body completely, a special kind of stillness fills the space. It is not an empty silence, but one of deep peace, as if all pain, all effort, and all struggle of the body instantly ends and dissolves into pure harmony. But what is it that actually leaves the body? What is the soul? Think of the soul as your true self, the eternal core of who you really are. All your laughter, your love, your wisdom, your personality. These are expressions of your soul, and they remain forever within it. The body and the brain are simply the instruments that allow the soul to experience life on earth. It is like clothing. At some point it grows old, loses its shape and must be replaced. The soul itself is independent of the body. The body is an expression of the soul. It is alive only because of the soul. But the soul is pure. It is unique consciousness. It is what makes each person so specific and special. It is the source of the deep love you feel for someone, the love that you now miss so painfully. And that is why love can never die. It was never a quality of the body. It was and always will be a quality of the soul. The body could express it, but its origin is eternal. So when the physical body dies, the person you loved does not truly die. They simply end their stay on the earthly stage, take off their costume, and return to their true, powerful, and free state of being. We often call the place of return the other side. It is a higher, subtle plane, an astral level, where the soul first arrives, looks back over its life, and then chooses what kind of new experiences will serve its evolution. Souls usually travel in groups, which means your connection with that person is never lost. On the subtle level, you remain connected always. The essence of the soul is eternal. Nothing is ever truly lost. It only transforms. Our bonds with one another exist beyond time and space, forever. The love we share has no end. When the body dies, it simply releases its limitations and returns to the higher astral realm, what many call the fifth dimension. It is always a liberation when a soul leaves its body and returns home. And if you wonder how I know all this so clearly, it is because as a medium I have spoken with many souls who have shared these experiences with me, and I often see them clairvoyantly on their other side. If you are interested in these topics, I have a whole list of videos about mediumship and the spiritual world. Check it out. I will link it here for you, so feel free to explore it later. But let's come back to the moment when a loved one leaves you. All this knowledge might help you understand things on one level, but when you are sitting there with a broken heart, it's different. Your pain is real. That overwhelming emptiness is real. And the very first and most important step in dealing with loss is often the one we forget. We must allow the pain and the grief to exist. Our society struggles with deep emotions. We hear phrases like "be strong" or "life goes on," but inside, everything in us screams, "No, not yet, I can't, I don't want to." And that no is secret. Your pain, your tears, your anger, none of that is your enemy. They are the language of love. Your soul cries because of the physical absence of someone you loved. If you suppress these feelings, you are suppressing the love that dared to feel so deeply. Imagine your grief as a vast dark ocean. If you try to push the waves away, they only grow stronger and pull you under. But if you learn to float with them, to let them come, breathe through them. You will eventually notice something very powerful. You don't drown. There is a strength inside you that can hold even this ocean. It's not only okay to let your pain flow completely, it is essential. It is necessary. It is a necessary process to digest the immense weight of your loss. You may be afraid to surrender to these feelings, afraid of losing control, of falling into a black hole and never finding your way out. But I can tell you, allow the grief. That is so important. This is the most powerful medicine. What really makes us sick and paralyzes us is this inner fight against the pain, that constant tension, suppression, and need to keep functioning. It drains every bit of energy. Yet, if you find the courage to open your heart just a little, to let the grief wash through you in waves, you will make an incredible discovery. The wave rises and crashes over you. You feel like you are drowning. And then, after a few minutes, it pulls back. You breathe. You're still here. You survived the first wave. You didn't lose control. You simply allowed a greater power, the power of your love, to move through you. When you give your pain this sacred space, instead of running from it, something essential begins to happen. A part of you starts to heal. And this healing process is deeply connected to the next big step, letting go. But be careful. Letting go is one of the most misunderstood words in grief. Letting go does not mean forgetting the person or ending the love. That would be impossible, and it would not be healing, but a betrayal of your own soul. What you are asked to let go is something different, something you might not even be aware of. You can let go of the idea that your relationship should have been different, that you should have had more time, said other words. You can release the weight of guilt or regret you may still carry. You can stop fighting against reality. That constant inner resistance to the fact that your loved one is no longer here in physical form. And most of all, you can let go of the fear that you will forget him or lose the connection. That's not true. This kind of letting go is the most active form of love that is possible. It is like taking your loved ones by the hand and walking them toward a bright, peaceful meadow, instead of holding them in a dark, painful place. You let them go in peace and love, and in doing so, you set yourself free as well. A key, perhaps the most important part of this letting go, is forgiveness. In every relationship, no matter how loving, there are always hurts, misunderstandings, or words left unspoken. Maybe there's something you regret. Maybe there were harsh words or things you never dared to say. Maybe you even feel anger or disappointment that they left you. Forgiveness in grief is not about pretending everything was fine or approving of what happened. It is not about the event itself. It is about you. Forgiveness is the choice to put down the heavy stone of resentment, guilt, or regret that you have been carrying in your heart. It's like kneeling down and digging out the stone, consciously leaving it behind. This act of forgiveness toward your loved one and toward yourself is the ultimate liberation. As long as you carry that burden, you remain trapped in the past, in the pain that goes beyond loss itself. When you forgive, you cut those invisible cords. You create a wide open space inside you, where the pure love for the person can flow again, without the bitterness of blame or guilt. Only this forgiveness allows true, freeing release. You let them go in peace and love, and in that same moment you free yourself. You open the door for the next step, a new, deeper kind of connection with them that can grow within you. And in this open, healed space that forgiveness and release have created, a completely new feeling begins to rise. Gratitude. Gratitude comes like a warm, silent current. It is the opposite of pain and loss. When pain says, I have lost something, gratitude whispers, I was blessed to have experienced this love. You begin to think less about the painful goodbye and more about the precious moments you shared, the laughter, the conversations, the little quirks you adored. The memories that once only made you cry now starts to comfort and nourish you. This gratitude is the proof that love has survived death. It is the living expression of the new pure connection that now exists between you. You are no longer only somebody who grieves. Then you are the keeper of a precious eternal treasure that this relationship has given you. And then, after weeks or months, when you have walked through this process, this healing process, something wonderful begins to happen. You suddenly think of the person unexpectedly, and instead of feeling pain, you feel a warm, gentle presence. And in these moments, it's important to understand when you suddenly think of them, they are near. Such impressions always have a reason. Your reaction in that moment matters. Try not to fall back into sorrow. Grief closes the heart and makes the space between you heavy. It blocks the subtle frequencies on which these messages travel. Instead, take a breath, become still, open yourself, feel the joy and gratitude that they are here. Joy and gratitude are like open gates for this higher frequency. And if you stay calm and open, you can begin to sense the messages they want to send you. But how can these messages appear? How does the other side speak to you? Souls rarely speak in direct words, but I also experience this. But their language is mostly signs. And when you remain open, you start to recognize them more easily. In dreams, you may meet them vividly and peacefully there. These visitation dreams feel different, more alive, more bright. Or maybe you receive a message through nature, a butterfly dancing around you, a bird looking straight at you for a long moment. a soft breeze touching you on a still day. These are all loving greetings from the spiritual world. And maybe you feel a wave of peace, a sudden warmth, or the scent you once associated with them. Then this is their way of embracing you. Whenever this happens, stay present and open to receive. If you notice such a sign, accept it with gratitude. You don't need to analyze it. Just whisper within, "Thank you, I saw it. I love you." This is so beautiful to give those small messages. And you may ask, can I also learn to experience this connection more consciously? Can I not only recognize these signs, but also enter into a true dialogue? The answer is yes, yes you can. This ability is your birthright. Every soul can awaken these subtle senses. What usually is missing is that we don't understand how this communication works, and we have a lot of doubts and blocks that make the veil seem thick. As a medium with many years of experience in supporting people and connecting with the spiritual world, I know that there are special techniques you can use to build and deepen this connection. In my trainings and coaching sessions, I teach these tools step by step, simple, grounded, and tailored to your personal growth. Together we identify what still holds you back so your natural, intuitive perception can unfold, and you can receive and interpret clear messages with confidence. You don't have to walk this path alone. If you feel ready to take the next step, to move from passive comfort into an active healing dialogue with your loved ones on the other side, I invite you to schedule a free, non-binding discovery call with my team. Together we will explore how we can best support you in your unique path. And also share this important video for other people who experience this situation right now. Thank you so much, and never forget, I love you.